And joining us from Amman is Omar Shakir. Omar is a human rights lawyer and a former director for Israel and Palestine at Human Rights Watch. It's great to have you on the program. So the filmmaker that we just heard, Youssef El-Hunu, he asks this question at the end of that montage. He says, who's going to be held responsible and accountable for leveling Gaza? Do you have a good answer to that?
I hope all the perpetrators of grave crimes, the genocide, the ethnic cleansing, the crimes against humanity, the war crimes, are held accountable. And there are paths there that might lead to accountability. What's been lacking has been the lack of political will. We know the International Criminal Court has already indicted Israel's sitting prime minister and the former defense minister. We know that there are investigations actively ongoing at that court for other crimes committed in Gaza and elsewhere. We know, of course, there's no real prospect for accountability in Israel, given the whitewash mechanism that's in place. But we also know that at courts around the world, under the principle of universal jurisdiction, prosecutors, human rights lawyers are filing cases, are going after individuals who may be involved in many of the grave crimes that took place. At the same time, sanctions have been levied by numerous governments on some Israeli officials. All of this is not enough. It is a drop in the bucket compared to the sea of atrocities that has taken place across Palestine. But there is some momentum, and critically, what's lacking is political will. But we will continue to fight as human rights lawyers to ensure that justice, is achieved.
Omar, what about financial accountability? Because the Board of Peace is supposed to be channeling tens of billions of dollars into Gaza reconstruction, but Israel, which destroyed the Strip in the first place, is not on the hook for any of that money.
Look, it's unquestionable that the Israeli government owes so much in reparations to Palestinians, not only for the grave crimes and the destruction and the billions of dollars, as has been estimated, that has taken place in Gaza and the West Bank, but for years and decades of crimes that have taken place, including, of course, the ethnic cleansing of 1948 during the Nakba, but the many grave crimes over the course of the occupation for the last more than half century. So it's unquestioned. Israel is also the occupying power. It has a duty to provide for the occupied population, irrespective even of their responsibility for the damages they have caused and the destruction they've wreaked. And traditionally, obviously, humanitarian organizations and other states have stepped in because the Israeli government has obviously not met that duty. It continues to violate international humanitarian law inside and out numerous times over. So other states have stepped in, but it's critical, of course, that if and when states do so, that it's with an eye towards ensuring Palestinian rights are realized. Development cannot come at the expense of those rights. So there should be rebuilding, but also return, reparations. These things are critical because otherwise we're just bound to see the cycle of atrocities and abuses continue.
Let's talk about the rebuilding, because earlier this year we saw Jared Kushner, who is Donald Trump's son-in-law and a key architect of the Board of Peace and even the peace plan that we're purportedly in the middle of with Israel and Palestine. And he presented his vision for the future of Gaza. I know this is on your radar. It was modern skyscrapers, it was rail lines, that was his dream vision. We're seeing mock-ups there of what he showed. What do you think Gaza will actually end up looking like? And do you buy into that or any version of it?
No, absolutely not. I mean, the Palestinians have the right to self-determination. It's very clear that they are the ones that should determine, their future. This idea of treating Gaza as this standalone island is divorced from the history of this land. Of course, Gaza is part of historic Palestine. It's part of the occupied Palestinian territory. You can't conceive of a future in Gaza that's separate from the story of Palestine. And there is no way we can even begin to talk about these kind of rebuilding as long as the crimes are continuing. Every day, Palestinians are being unlawfully killed in Gaza. Destruction is continuing. So there needs to be an end, not only to these crimes, there needs to be an end, to Israel's illegal occupation. There needs to be freedom of movement that connects, Gaza and the West Bank together and ensures that Palestinians have the right to move between Gaza and the West Bank. Refugees need to be allowed to return to their homes in Gaza, but also their original homes in what's now, Israel. So whatever the vision is of the future, Palestinians are the ones who determine it, but it needs to be rooted in respect for their fundamental rights and human dignity.
Omar Shakir joining us from Amman this hour. Thank you very much.
Don't miss out, get the full picture. Subscribe to Al Jazeera for reliable news and expert insights. Like, share, stay ahead.